One big positive that I want to mention, and then we can move on to looking at the offseason as a whole. One big positive to me was the play of Jake Guentzel. I think that was evident to everybody that watched this game and watched this series. Guentzel finished with 8 goals, 2 assists, and 10 points in the 7 games played. He was, especially compared to the way he played against the Islanders last postseason, not even before that, also like the Canadian series and the Islanders series before, Guentzel had gone a couple of years without being that elite playoff performer, and he returned to that in this series, and it was a massive factor as to why the Penguins were even in Game 7, let alone tied going into overtime of Game 7 as well. The goal he scored in that game was ridiculous. Great hand-eye coordination, but he was just terrific all the way around. A lot has been made of the fact that he's not really a defensive specialist, and he's not really good defensively. But when you're a top 6 winger, when you are the best winger on this team, you kind of say, okay, that's fine that he's not the defensive mastermind that his center, Sidney Crosby, certainly has turned out to be.
It's time for people to realize that Jake Guentzel's an elite player in this league. It really is. It's sad that he doesn't get the respect he deserves. He's a 40-goal scorer. Could be 50 if he tried hard enough. I don't know about 60. Austin Matthews was on another level this year.
Yeah, 60 is just ridiculous.
Yeah, but, 8 goals in 7 games, 10 points through 7 games in the postseason against, again, how many times am I going to say it? Against the Vezina winner, against the possible MVP winner. Dude, that's an elite level talent right there. And I'm assuming from here on in, people are going to realize that.
Here's the thing with Jake Guentzel, too. Just to kind of look forward a little bit, he's the only top 6 winger and one of 2 top 6 forwards that are currently under contract for the Penguins next year. Him and Crosby. That's it.
Yeah.
And also, I think the big thing as well is the fact that he did all of this despite, and I know that he had a half-decent series. I know he had a 3-point game in Game 1. Brian Rust did not have a fantastic postseason this year. In a big time for him because he's going into a contract situation as UFA. The fact that he was making those mistakes, he was missing the net, he was whiffing on rebound chances, and Guentzel was still able to go out there, put up 10 points. I understand there was only 2 assists, and one of them was the beautiful assist that he made in Game 6 to set Brian Rust up. I think Guentzel was extremely, extremely impressive in this postseason. And realistically, the one thing that you can fall back on, even though it's going to be a wild and turbulent offseason, is Jake Guentzel will be on the team come Game 1 of next season. And that's always going to be something that is great for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah. I know whenever I said there are 2 people that are safe, Jake Guentzel's probably a 3rd.
I would imagine unless somebody offers you the sun and the moon, meaning like a first-round pick and a good NHL player, they're not going to move on from a guy like Jake Guentzel because he's a 40-goal scorer. You just don't trade guys like that, especially at his age and with his contract too.
Yeah, he's already in. He's got another 2 years. I'm looking at a different contract. He's got another 2 years left, so we have the time to really mold with him, to really have him play at this skill level for a long time.
Yeah.
I think if there was a safe bet for a 3rd person, that is definitely safe. It's him. Everyone else, though, it's going to be interesting. But I think Jake Guentzel, and you mentioned Brian Rust, you said he didn't have the greatest series. He still had 8 points, man.
He did, but he was more of a passenger on that line with Crosby and Guentzel than he was. 3 of those came in Game 1. Let's not forget.
That's fair.
I feel like he was much more of a passenger in this series than somebody who was actually driving play, like we saw him do back in 2016 and in 2017.
Yeah.